It is cold.
Oh, so cold. Beautiful though, really nice. Refreshing. Hey guys, welcome back to The Outfit. I'm Chris.
And I'm Ange, and we are in Nimitluk National Park. And this is potentially actually our last day in the Northern Territory, or one of the last days. So we decided to come and have a last swim in this beautiful spot. We found an epic little fall. Water is much colder than we thought it would be though, but that
nice
was
and refreshing.
Yeah, nice way to end, I guess, our time in the Northern Territory, which we absolutely love.
We've really liked it. Darwin is an awesome little city, so we've had a really good time here actually, and the weather has been amazing to us. And now we are going to take the Savannah Way across to Cairns. So we'll probably spend about a week, maybe a little bit longer, heading across the Cape of Carpentaria, and we'll take you along with us.
Yeah, so here we go. Bring on Queensland's adventures.
Alright, so we have entered Limmen National Park. It's actually been really good dirt roads. There's not too many corrugations at all. We've done 330 kilometers since we last spoke to you. So far, not a lot to report at all. Lots of road trains on the previous road, on the Roper Highway. And it was weird. It's like a one-way. It was paved, but only enough for one vehicle. The rest of it was like this gravel berm on either side. So when the road trains came through, you had to get right off the road, so they had the right of way on the pavement, which is good in a way because then they can't throw rocks at your windscreen because they've got the paved part. But it makes you really have to concentrate on the road. So yeah, we're just cruising through. We've still got at least 170 kilometers until the spot we want to get to. The Southern Lost City is where we want to end up today, so we will film a bit when we get there.
Maybe wondering why we're earmuffs again, and it's just nicer for the long drive that we do. We can listen. So these are the earmuffs that actually Chris had before for the build and at the beginning as well for travel with the mug. And it's got Bluetooth, so it's really handy for me to be able to listen to my audiobook. And Chris has got his wireless Beats. So we both can listen individually to different audiobooks because sometimes we listen together, but sometimes it's nice to have different ones. So this is why I've got that, and that blocks a little bit as well the noise of the mug on the long distance. I'm listening to Stolen Focus, or You Can't Pay Attention, from Joe and Harry on Audible, which I really like. I haven't started it a long time ago. It's diving down why so much people using the phone constantly on social media and what we can do to reduce that. So no, I think it's gonna be a good book. I'll give you a little bit of a bit of corrugation. I can give a little bit more my thoughts on it when I finish the book. What do you listen to?
Can't Hurt Me, David Goggins. I've had it on my Audible for quite some time now. Never actually got around to listening to it. It's really good. I think I'm up to the 4th chapter. It's very good actually. Really like it. David Goggins is, if you're unfamiliar with him, he's an ex-Navy SEAL, kind of drop beat guy who's become just incredibly mentally tough, and he's a good motivational speaker. And yeah, it's cool book to listen to. It's more of a story about his life and leading up to how he's become really hard.
So we've driven a bit further and now we're stopping for lunch. We still haven't made it to the Southern Lost City, but I think it's just better. We're going to find like a nice spot next to a river. So I'm going to stop here and we'll carry on a bit later. 1:45, so definitely getting a bit hungry. Yeah.
Hit some bull dust, which normally bull dust is like liquid soft dust that just goes everywhere. But we hit a big patch that was like concrete hard. And it
shook us like out of nowhere.
It's not a shook. I was going about 70k an hour, so I pulled over straight afterwards and went into the camp and checked everything.
Oh my god, on the right, what is that? Oh my god!
Hey big boy. Oh my goodness me. How are you? Anything to say? Hey man. Alright, we'll carry on. Good day to you. Wow.
It's huge. Don't attack. We come in peace. Oh. Didn't expect that. I was like, oh my god, what is this?
Anyway, hit the really hard patch of bull dust, so went into the camper. Everything was fine, but there was a loaf of bread in the shower, like a panna di casa. It's like, what? Where did this come from? So it must have flown out of Angie's overhead cabinet,
It's so random.
flown into the shower and then closed itself. So everything was fine apart from this poor bread.
In the shower.
Awesome.
Alright, where do we go? This way. So we've made it to a very nice lunch spot, which I believe is the Thomas River. I'm not too sure how far we are from the ocean. I'll have to look on the map. And in the camper, it's so cool in the camper. So what we've done recently is we're completely shutting our blinds, and that makes such a huge difference. Like, it's really cool right now.
We're back on the road, heading towards the Lost City. We've got about 55k to go. Big old bushfire on our right. This is all still smouldering, so this must have come through probably yesterday, I guess, and the fires just kept on going. So they do a lot of patchwork burning, we've found out, but we're not too sure if this is where. We've actually got some flames right on the side of the road here.
Crazy.
So we're not sure if this was deliberately lit or not. But yeah, it's a proper inferno up that way. Yes, burning right through here. That's crazy how it's just casually burning through this entire stretch of bush. Yeah. You can really feel that heat far out. Mad. But because it's not really thick bush, it doesn't seem to flare up too much. It's quite slow burning. You'll often see kites, which are like a carnivorous raptor, circling, and they'll be picking off the animals that are trying to get away, or the animals that have been freshly roasted. Yeah, neat. Alright, back to the corrugations.
finally from the southern Lost City. We came here last night, but we're just both so tired from the drive, especially Chris. So
I was knackered.
yeah, that was quite a long stretch yesterday. We pushed a little bit more, so that was good. But yeah, we decided to have a good night of sleep and woke up nice and early to witness the sunrise here. It's beautiful.
So we just
and
got some
so
cool
peaceful.
footage from the drone, and now having a nice, I think it's 2.5K walk.
Really cool.
We are surrounded by these sandstone monoliths that were created 1,500 million years ago.
That's hard to compare.
And since then they've been eroded by fluvial erosion, so rain. And yeah, really, really beautiful. Good time of day. Funnily enough, the flies are worse here than in the Simpson and Lemon National Park.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not really
probably the
sure
worst.
why. So getting up nice and early is the key, but they're already swarming.
Right, carry on.
Cool. So cool.
Excuse me?
We're in Burralo.
So what Chris is trying to say, the correct pronunciation is Borroloola, I believe. So we have made it yesterday to Borroloola. Sorry for the pronunciation. We have no idea how to say it actually. This is actually a really nice spot. This is just by the boat ramp. Very dirty though, unfortunately. Lots of trash around. That's always quite sad to see, especially in the NT, because there's been so many rubbish being provided around that I can't really understand why it's so dirty. So we've made it here yesterday after driving around 150 kilometers, mostly on dirt road in the Lemon National Park. So after we left the southern Lost City, it was actually much rougher, that section, than the northern section to get to the southern Lost City. So if you head there, just keep that in mind when you head towards Aquarella Springs. That was really bad. We didn't enjoy that part. Not the worst corrugation, but not the best. But today, unfortunately, we've got even more corrugation coming up. We are taking the Savannah Way to cross the border to Queensland, which is known to have quite bad corrugation. So yesterday, by surprise, we met another Unimog owner on the road actually, which is F and his partner Brenda. And they were coming from this way, and they warned us they couldn't drive very fast on that road because it was pretty shocking. Yeah. So at least we know what to expect. But that was really nice to see another Unimog camper on the road.
Was.
We were actually saying a few days ago, we haven't seen any on our travels like on the road, and they were the first one in the middle of nowhere. So that was really cool to meet them.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, nice to meet you here, Brenda. I saw the coolest thing yesterday. So Ange and I were sitting here yesterday afternoon. It was getting a bit late, sun was going down. And then we heard this almighty splash. I immediately thought someone had jumped into the river. No, I thought someone had jumped in. It was that loud. It was like human body size, whatever it was. And I was like, oh, no one's gonna have jumped in here. Rushed over, there was something kind of moving on the surface, and stayed over here. So I just stared at it for ages. Like, it's a giant saltwater crocodile and it's eaten something on the bank. Kept looking, didn't really go away, and there was something moving out of the water that almost made it look like a giant stingray. Yeah. So I like beckoned Ange over. We sat there looking at it for a while. I started, obviously being a fisherman, I immediately started throwing lures to see, you know, if I could get it to be interested. Did that for about 10 minutes, and then
it's just a maximum.
I looked down, and there is the biggest fish I've ever seen in my life. Without word of a lie, this thing was easily the size of Ange. I looked at it, so it did like a swim by of me, and just like looked at me in the eye.
Very close to shore.
And then swam off. It was super calm. It was a massive Queensland groper.
Yeah, we had to Google it, and we saw it a lot.
I was like, that wasn't a barra, it wasn't a catfish, it was a giant, and I've never actually seen a Queensland groper yet, obviously being in WA, but I knew what it was because I've seen pictures and video of them. This thing was huge.
Your rod would have never been.
Up here in this river, and it was at low tide. It was bizarre. Yeah. So cool though. I was chuffed when I saw that. I was like, yeah, go buddy. Yeah. So clearly the crocs and the sharks aren't scared of these guys, because the groper are the king of the ocean. Yeah, very cool.
All right, we're gonna hit the road. Hopefully we can to see some pretty cool stuff along the way.
We've got a measurement to do. Ooh, won't tell you any more than that.
We've got a secret project. Shh.
All right, my first frilled dragon. So the reason I chased him, I wouldn't normally chase a lizard. I wanted to do the frill. That's the first one I've seen. Awesome, straight up the tree. Old abandoned cruiser right next to another little smouldering bushfire. Such a strange place. Really strange. Looked like that truck had rolled.
Interesting film, this 7 Away. It's my advice, my tip is don't necessarily listen to the people's advice on the road condition, because
My advice is not to listen to other people's advice.
we basically got told, yeah, no, look, 7 Away is absolutely fine, no corrugation, I can drive my cruiser at 110k an hour. And we definitely not the same, like we're cruising around 50k in most parts because it's quite heavily corrugated.
It's not just the corrugations, it's the rocks in the road as well. You don't really want to be hitting big rocks at 110k an hour. You're asking for trouble.
Also, one thing that a lot of people have asked us, for example, when we meet them on the road, is how is the mug handling the corrugation?
Terrible!
And it's not great. Like, one thing to know is that the springs on the mug are quite stiff, so it makes the ride very bumpy.
Yeah, well, I think people are like, oh, but this truck looks like it can handle anything. Yes, it can. But you got to remember, this is a stock 6-ton truck with springs designed to be able to carry up to 12 ton of gear cross country. It's not going to have soft little flexi springs. So, I mean, it doesn't have race suspension, it's got load suspension. So yeah, the springs are very stiff. So you feel every single corrugation.
Good times. We're trying to get another 30k pushing through, and we'll stop for lunch. We've just made it to our lunch spot, being welcomed by some black cockatoos. Not too bad of a spot, despite all being burnt. We've got quite a bit of water over there. Looks pretty. Comes so weird, all this river, like they come out of nowhere, it's so dry, and then you've got this little like oasis like that. Chris is doing a little check on the mug with the mighty infrared gun.
Which is so handy, actually. I forgot to do. Yeah, it's good.
All is good.
All is good. Ambient temperature on portals. Diffs are a bit warmer than ambient. Transmission's about 84 degrees, which is perfect. Yeah, it's all fine. All going well. Tires aren't too warm either.
The reality of my lunch break, I tried to go outside for 1 second. I was inundated by at least 30 flies. Not a chance I'm gonna eat outside. But also I can't sit on a couch because I've got a bed down for the corrugation. So this is gonna be my lunch spot for today with my Makita friend. So good. And this is a little concoction. I've got like a little chicken quesadilla that kind of like fell apart with some pesto, tomato, mushroom, a bit of bocconcini. Just doing what I can with our leftovers. Welcome to Queensland! Yay! Give us the turtles and the coast and the palm tree.
We're delirious. We are delirious.
Give them all to me right now.
Fun time.
No, we still got 2,000k to go, don't mind us.
Oh man.
Alright.
Okay, we need to find camp because my back's killing me now. Alright. We've got about 30k to go till what Ange thinks on Wikicamps could potentially be a spot.
I don't know.
We'll
Hard
see.
to tell.
As long as we don't stop in Hell's Gate, we might get raped and murdered.
Oh my God.
We should be fine. Let's do it.
Good morning from our beautiful campsite from last night. The one that was on Wiki Games was really inappropriate. There was a big dead animal right at the entrance and we just couldn't stand the smell of it. Here it's like lots of flies, but the worst part was last night. There was all these little like small beetles, like little bugs that tried to come into the mug.
Full invasion. Full invasion.
They were all like on the Velcro on fly screen. And the worst was on our candle. We had like a little candle inside to try to minimize the light. And there was like a soup.
We don't really know how they were getting in. I think they were so small they were finding their I don't know, they were just finding their way in somehow.
And you had to dig them out of the candle.
I used a spoon to like scoop them out of the candle once they'd boiled alive in wax. Yeah, it was pretty gross. But welcome to Queensland.
Yeah. So now we've got another 200 kilometers of dirt road before we get a little patch of blacktop. So we see how we go. We'll try to make some good kilometers today as well.
Sad, it's a wedge-tailed eagle. It's probably been hit by a car and then it's
Oh my
also
God. You don't have enough room. Show you cockatoo one that we got yesterday.
yeah, look at that one. Red
Beautiful.
cockatoo feather. They're rare. This kind of smells a little bit.
Great.
Added to my other eagle feather. Don't mind me. There's not a lot else to do on this highway.
Collecting feathers. Great.
Remind me not to lick my hand.
Oh yeah. Wow. That looks so good.
So good.
Hey.
No fish, but that'll do.
The perfect way to end the day. Today was a really good day actually, much better than I thought it would be. So the Queensland side of the Savannah Way is so much better than the NT. It was actually sealed almost the entire way. So we got here about lunchtime, so we could like relax this afternoon, which is really nice, and as well have enough energy to have a fire to have some nice cues. So that's
good. Can't
really
wait.
nice.
And the temperature has really come down now with that breeze coming through. So it was very hot before.
Yeah, the
Bloody
change
good
to
now.
go back to outback Queensland. We had a little bit of rain actually on the way, but still super, super hot. So we're in a free camp, which is called
Leichhardt Falls.
Leichhardt Falls, which
Beautiful.
not much, obviously it's a bit dry, so there's no falls, but it looks absolutely stunning actually.
Yeah, cockatoo over there.
Cockatoos, lots of birds.
Went for a fish before, but didn't catch anything. There's a few people fishing at the moment, but I haven't seen anyone catch anything. Yeah. Turn the skewers, ready to go.
Yay. And this is the finished result. Yum. Bon appetit. We're flying down. Thank God, I would have known there would be so many hills and downhills in tropical North Queensland. My goodness me. We have officially made it to the proper jungle and so green here our first wildlife bridge. What was it? It was...
Yeah, so I think it's for the cuscus, that this funny little, I don't know if it's a marsupial or a mammal, but they're really small. Kind of a little bit like a pink monkey.
Yeah, there's like a
And
net.
there's like sky bridges. Yeah, but like a proper, almost like a ladder, horizontal ladder for them. Really neat.
So right now we're heading just before towards Cairns, where we're gonna spend the next few days just relaxing, doing all the chores, we're running out of water, food, etc. So we need to get that sorted and do our itinerary for what's next. So we'll keep you posted when we're over there, and we'll let you know what is the next adventure.
Alright, so that concludes our time on the Savannah Way. Overall, the road wasn't so bad. It did take us 7 days. We didn't go too fast, but it was a bit exhausting. And the worst part of the road was after Boolaroola, heading towards the Queensland side. That was probably the worst stretch of road. Other than that, it was actually pretty well maintained.
Yeah, so we're so glad that we finally made it to Queensland. Cairns is already blowing us away, so we can't wait to take you along the next adventures. We'll hit the Daintree Rainforest National Park and go all the way to the tip in Cape York.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. Really appreciate the support as always, and we always go through your comments. If we don't reply, it's just because there are so many, but thank you so much. And please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because it helps kind of push us up on that YouTube algorithm. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.